Seguimos en Futurecom 2011, nos visita en este caso la Unión Internacional de Telecomunicaciones. Tenemos a Hamadoun Touré, que es el secretario general de la Unión Internacional de Telecomunicaciones, que ha venido a Futurecom para hacer una presentación en el Congreso y lo tenemos con nosotros. Vamos a hablar en inglés y él nos va a explicar un poquito qué está haciendo aquí la Unión Internacional de Telecomunicaciones, la UIT o ITU, como se dice en inglés, para entender mejor cuál es el rol de esta institución en el marco de Futurecom 2011 que hemos vivido durante esta semana. Dr. Hamadoun, welcome to Telecomunicaciones.com.
Thank you.
So you had a presentation here, you come from the ITU, you said you were very impressed before we started this recording. So tell us about your presentation, and then afterwards perhaps we can discuss why you've been impressed with Futurecom.
Well, first of all, let me talk to you about ITU. The International Telecommunications Union is the oldest agency of the United Nations in charge of managing the telecommunications, be it spectrum, standards, or regulation. ITU dates back 1865, 146 years this year, and we are today in the middle of the development of information and communication technology. The reason why I'm here today at Futurecom is that we are promoting broadband access for every country in the world, because broadband will be in the center of every aspect of our economic and social development today. Without broadband, no country will be able to meet its Millennium Development Goals by 2015. Health, education, government, access to people, you name it. And therefore it is important for us to have the synergy with organizations like Infocom sorry, let me say that again. Yes. It is important for us to have synergies with organizations like Futurecom to be able to pass the right message about broadband access, about broadband development. I've seen this week many speakers from many walks of life coming together, from regulatory side, from lawmakers, from operators and service providers and content providers, and therefore I find Futurecom very much in line with the work of the International Telecommunications Union, and it is my job to come and encourage them, to support them, and to share with them our vision of the future, and to share with all the stakeholders the different strategies that we need to put in place in order to have a very dynamic growth of the information and communication technology sector.
Okay. Overall, what would be those strategies that the ITU is promoting around the world, and obviously here in Brazil, and what are the recommendations beyond what you've seen here? Because probably you've seen here a bunch of things going on. Some probably, or most of them, it seems that you agree that Brazil is going on the right direction. So for other countries in Latin America that have not been here, what would be the recommendations that the ITU is putting in place?
This is a very good question, because you need to make sure that all the players know and understand the strategies that are put in place, that are all complementary. First, we need to address the strategies that need to be put in place in terms of legal and regulatory framework. That is the key driver for any development program. In the ICT sector, the role of regulatory authorities will be key. The role of lawmakers in terms of putting the right regulation that will be implemented by the regulatory authorities among the players who are the operators is very important. We need to put in place regulations that are conducive to more competition, that are conducive to more content creation, and that is conducive to more growth. That is very important. And the principles for that are very important as well. Principle of transparency, principles of information sharing with all the stakeholders before and in the course of decision-making process and after. It's very important to share the technologies that are going on and which direction we are going. We are promoting today IMT Advanced with LTE Advanced and new technologies that will enable us to face the real challenges we are facing today in a world where voice, video and data are one. the convergence of today requires new rules and regulations that are adapted to that, so that there will be no bottlenecks. Some other very important issues that need to be discussed among all the stakeholders are things such as making sure that there is a good framework in place for content creation, because infrastructure and content need to go together. There is one part of our stakeholders who are the operators that are putting in place the networks. But it's very important that enough content comes to back that to run on those networks, and that there is a sufficient exchange of information so that both parts benefit from the goodies of the information society that we're into today.
Let me interrupt, because it seems sometimes that the guys that produce content and the operators, they're fighting each other instead of cooperating.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if that's what you're seeing too.
Their roles are complementary. Then we need to understand that. We need to make sure that everyone understands that a content without infrastructure will not go anywhere, will not be shared. Infrastructure without content will be useless, and therefore the two needs to go together, and that there is a need for collaborating. I mean, I always compare this to highways and cars and trucks. It's not because you own the highways that you need to own all the cars and trucks that are running on them, and certainly not the goods that are transporting as well. But in order for you to have a smooth flow of the transport, the highway owners need to know the weight, the speed, the height of the cars and trucks, so that they build the bridges, so the texture of the highways, and so that the bridges won't collapse, and the number of lanes as well, so that there will be no traffic jam. Those are needed, and therefore they need to work together. We are in a complementary world, and we can make it a win-win for everyone. And let me tell you, we are satisfied in the ITU because we've seen this tremendous growth over the past few years, over the past 10 years, because of the work that is being done in the Union, because of the complementary work between all the stakeholders. And I hope that this will continue.
Okay.
ITU is unique in the sense that we have, in addition to our 192 member states, soon probably 193 with Southern Sudan joining the United Nations. Absolutely, 193. But we have over 700 private companies also working hand in hand in the Union. Therefore, the role of private sector is very important in the Union, and we all understand that. The role of regulators, we have just accepted a new type of membership, that academia. Okay. There was a missing piece in the puzzle, and I was able to get our members to approve that at the last plenipotentiary conference that I presented in.
So that means regulators will be able to join, or
regulators are members already. Okay. We are talking about academia now.
Okay,
academia. This is a new breed of people who will be helping us, not only ensuring that the standards that we are producing are studied right at the universities level, but also universities contribute in the research and development that will be conducive to creating new standards in the world as well. And standardization is necessary in order to have large-scale manufacturing, in order to have interoperability between equipment manufactured in different places, in order to bring down the cost. That is very important, because consumer is right at the end of the line in this whole game, and consumers' right needs to be protected. It means that everybody has a right to access information. Everybody has the right to use information, because accessing enough is not enough.
Yes.
But everyone has also the right to create information. That's the fundamental characteristics of a human being, where each of us is a potential source of information, creator of information. Last but not least, sharing information. That way we can say we are today in the information society, and we are entering the knowledge society, where everyone can have that exercise that right.
Interesting. Let's go for the spectrum to finalize the interview, and because it's a key issue, obviously, in emerging markets.
That's right.
Because obviously we need spectrum, because most of that content, that traffic, is going to go through the airwaves.
That's right.
So what the recommendations from the ITU, knowing that more and more operators are complaining that they are constrained with the spectrum they have, and it seems we're going to reach a point where we're not going to find any spectrum where to put the broadband revolution in emerging markets at least. So
as we are growing, of course, spectrum has always been an issue. It is a limited natural resource. We have to make most efficient use of it, and this is one of the fundamental actions that ITU is carrying in assuring that there is a very good use of the spectrum, efficient use of it, and also making sure that all of the services and applications have their frequencies to use. Today we are in the middle of a world where we are always connected, always on the move, and mobile has dominated the first decade of this millennium. The second decade of the millennium will be dominated by broadband, especially mobile broadband, and therefore there will be a lot of pressure on us to find new ways of finding new spectrum. And this is why we have already 10 years ago have decided that there will be full digital broadcasting worldwide by 2015. And we are pleased to see that there are a lot of synergies in doing that, and there will be what people call today the digital dividend, which will enable some use of some of the spectrum for new usages that will require new spectrum, making sure that also the television broadcasting and radio broadcasting will continue to have enough spectrum for growth. Of course, the digitalization will enable them to give them new opportunities for more usage of the spectrum, more efficient use of the spectrum, more digital compression effect, meaning that the same frequency will carry many channels, and therefore they will have a multiplication effect. They will not be losing by giving away part of the frequency. They also have, and that's very important, especially today where we are talking about green economy, green ICT. The digital transmitters will save up to 9 times more energy than the analog transmitters, and therefore there will be a lot of saving in energy. In fact, the savings alone in energy cost, in energy consumption, will help, we could pay over 10 years' time the cost of a new digital equipment. And therefore there is a real opportunity here. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Dr. Touré, I know you have a busy schedule. We appreciate you stopping by our small TV studio and providing some input on what the ITU is promoting here in Latin America, and we are glad to see you here. We hope to see you next year as well.
We are definitely very pleased with the show here, and I've requested actually a special collaboration with ITU, because as you know, ITU has its special show, ITU Telecom Worlds, in Geneva in October 24 to 27, and of course these national and regional shows are complementary to what we're doing, and therefore we see them as partners, and we need to work together to make it a success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Real pleasure. Thank you.